Maxime Vachier-Lagrave of the Upgrad Mumba Masters takes on Hikaru Nakamura for the Fyers American Gambit at the Tech Mahindra Global Chess League. Maxime opens with e4, Hikaru plays e5, knight to f3, and we have the Petrov. Hikaru doesn't play this often and he takes on e4. Generally, you go d6 here as the main line. Now queen e2, queen e7, takes d6. You get back the piece because the queen is hanging, but you will lose a pawn here. But Hikaru is well prepared. Takes on e5, and now, wow, this is epic. f5 played. By the way, people used to play d4 here, but Maxime has gone f4, and now queen e3 back. Knight comes to c6, attacking here. Notice if you play d4, there is queen h4 check, and this pawn drops. So he goes knight to c3, Hikaru takes on e5. And the speed at which Hikaru is playing shows that he's well prepared. Pawn to d4, attacking the knight goes to g4. Still in his prep is Hikaru Nakamura. Queen takes queen, bishop takes on e7. He's going to put the bishop on f6 and put pressure on d4 and c3. Bishop f4 played, attacking the pawn on c7. Is that an important pawn? Yes, it is. He goes c6, and now bishop to c4, stopping all castling ideas, stopping the bishop from coming to e6. He goes b5. He attacks that bishop. Maybe the bishop can drop back to d3, but he goes to b3, keeping the bishop on this diagonal. a5 played, trying to trap the bishop with a4. And MVL plays a3. He doesn't go a4 because of b4 move. And now Hikaru plays bishop a6. Very interesting. If you long castle, there is knight f2. If you short castle, there is b4. Black cannot long castle, cannot short castle. What a position this is. h3, the knight comes back to f6. And now you can long castle. But he goes bishop e5. He centralizes his bishop. White has a slightly better position here in the MVL versus Hikaru game. And the arbiter just comes in to maybe set some things right. And Hikaru is like, He pushes his pawn to b4. It's a bit risky because the rook is going to open up on this file. But I think Hikaru is okay with it. He takes, a takes b4, the knight is hanging. The knight goes to e2. And now a very important move here to break this pin is king d7 so that the rooks protect each other. And now some threats here like bishop c4. Imagine knight f4. You have bishop c4. You take, I take back. You can't take the bishop because I give you a check and lose the rook. So very interesting calculations here. He goes knight to g3, attacking the pawn on f5. You can defend it with g6. Will Hikaru take the time to do that? 8 minutes 16 seconds for MVL, 9:15 for Hikaru. g6 played, king moves to f2. And now rook to f8 played. He defends the rook. And MVL plays his rook on the e file. The rook is well placed. Hikaru brings his knight into the center of the board. It's a complex, queenless middle game, I must say this. So many possibilities for both sides. And MVL comes back with his knight to e2. Where is he heading? Maybe to f4 to trade it off. Well, Hikaru just pushes f4. And after king f3, pushes g5 as well. And he's threatening to play h5 and g4 eventually. Knight goes to c1. He's getting the knight up there. Very interesting maneuver. h5 by Hikaru. He's gaining space here. If knight to d3, can we simply chop off this knight? We could potentially do that. But Hikaru plays knight to e3. He's preparing for the g4 check move. Knight to c5 takes, pawn takes. Now, well, I guess ideally you cannot play here as the pawn would become very weak. So rook e8 played, attacking the bishop. The bishop goes to g5, attacking f6, goes to f6, attacking g5, g4 check, takes. And can we not take here? Well, there's knight g2 and you lose. So that's the reason why king f2, g3, and now he goes king g1. That's very risky, super risky here, play by MVL. The h file is dangerous. He goes bishop b5, but now a very good move is bishop to f7. It's a very sharp move, threatening to really attack this king with rook d1 check, and then if you take the rook, rook e7 with a mating attack could very well come by here. It's tough move to see bishop f7. I mean, just changing from an endgame into kind of going all out for this attack, not at all easy. And so he goes bishop g5, takes and plays rook e4, defending the f4 pawn, rook e1 and rook d4 played here. Excellent play by Hikaru Nakamura. And now the point is, if you play bishop takes f4, there is rook f4, and if rook e3, there is rook f1 checkmate. It's a very important point. MVL pushes his pawn to c3. Here attacking the rook on d4, and Hikaru looking at the other games. He's like, do I have a chance here? Is there something happening? Look at him calculating this. He looks at other games and he's not so happy because his team is losing here. The Fyers American Gambits are losing, but Hikaru has his chances. Takes, rook takes g2, king h1, rook check, king g1. And look at that hesitation. He gives a check, king goes back, and now chops off the b2 pawn. So e3 is hanging and b3 is also hanging. So the position is getting to around equality here. Hikaru more interested in the other games there, because at the end you want your team to win. Bishop takes e3 and he takes on b3 with a check. C takes b4. It's a very good idea, and Hikaru shaking his head there. Now this should be a draw now. Okay, he goes rook b2, stopping the white king from coming up. And now the black king, if given an opportunity, would start rushing down. So rook d1, check. He goes king e6. And now need to stop the black king from advancing even further. He goes rook d2, offering a trade. Rook b3, fantastic move by Hikaru. Not trading, attacking the bishop there. The bishop goes to f4, king jumps in. And now before you know it, now it's winning position for black. The king is coming in. He goes bishop to c4. Lovely move, rerouting the bishop. King g2 check. And MVL needs to give up his rook. Here, check. Takes on d5, takes. And now bishop a5. But just king g4. Followed by a check is game over. And MVL resigns. Hikaru Nakamura scores his first win as a dad here in this tournament and in his life. What a big game that is. But unfortunately his team lost the match. The Fyers American Gambits losing to the Upgrad Mumba Masters. We have Shakriyar Mamidyaro, who struck gold, and also Daneshwar Bardia.